Okay. Thanks for coming in. I'm afraid, however, that I have another important meeting scheduled in about 30 minutes, so we should get down to business. Give me a 30-second elevator pitch that best captures your basic idea or strategy to introduce Kentucky beer cheese to the UK.
Good morning, Miss Evans. We are Layla, Nikki, and Samantha, and we are excited to smoothly introduce our product, Kentucky Beer Cheese, into the London market through working with I Camden Town Brewery in the UK. Beer cheese is a rich, tangy cheese dip made with sharp cheddar, garlic, and a splash of local beer, which is a US tradition that pairs perfectly with pretzels, burgers, and craft brews. While it's unknown here, it's a staple at every Kentucky tailgate. These joint ventures and multi-domestic strategies will help create a smooth transition to adapt to economical, social, and cultural differences within London.
That's interesting. Why is the UK a good place for us to sell beer cheese?
So, after observing the culture here in the UK, we believe beer cheese will be an excellent product to introduce into their markets. Here in the UK, pubs are extremely popular part of locals' day-to-day life. Going to a pub is a social event where one can have a drink with friends or enjoy a casual meal for up to 2 to 3 hours. And with the popularity and high usage rate of pubs, we believe beer cheese will be extremely successful product to enter into this unique industry.
Do customers enjoy similar products, and are they really ready for the concept of a cheese spread mixed with beer?
We don't think there's anything on the market that is comparable to beer cheese at this moment in time. However, customers thoroughly enjoy both beer and cheese on a daily basis, so we believe they would enjoy a combination of the two products. And for are they ready for this product? Pubs, locals, and London as a whole are 100% ready for the concept of a cheese spread mixed with beer. It will be a perfect addition to pubs' menus as an appetizer, such as beer cheese and a soft pretzel, a specialty entree burger, cheeseburger, or a takeaway item for a snack at home in a tub. It will elevate the pub's menu in a way that doesn't stray away too much from the culture and vibe. Locals, the customers, will be ready for the taste of the beer cheese because their palate is very used to both products, and they will appreciate a slight switch up in the traditional pub's menu. There's not much of a variety like within the traditional menu. There's fish and chips, pies, burgers, cheese platters, and beer, so they'll appreciate that for sure. And lastly, one day we believe that London as a whole will be ready for beer cheese once it gains some popularity in pubs and it will hit the shelves of markets everywhere.
Perfect. What kinds of cultural, social, and attitudinal factors should I consider before diving into the British market?
That's a good question. There are many factors one has to consider when entering a completely new market, obviously. We will need to consider the usage rate of pubs, like I talked about, the size of this market compared to Kentucky, because there's obviously going to be quite a bit of differences. The importance of London's focus on environmental factors, because we've noticed here, like, there are a lot of packaging differences and whatnot, aesthetic preferences, preferred flavor profiles, ingredient restrictions, nutritional fact differences, converting measurements, changes in currency, and government regulations. And we know this can seem overwhelming to hear all at once, but don't worry, we'll shortly cover through our strategies like how we can face all of these challenges.
Perfect. I'm not familiar with government regulations and policies related to trade and foreign direct investment in the UK. Is there anything I should be concerned about?
Yeah, absolutely. This has definitely been something that we have focused on just because of like the exportation and customs and the price of everything. So the most important thing we need to look at is the government regulations and making sure that the beer cheese follows the United Kingdom rules for labeling ingredients and allergens. Luckily, we have found that all the ingredients used in the beer cheese here follows these regulations, which is a very good thing for us here. We will need to change the labeling and packaging from ounces to grams, and we all also have taken into account for roughly every $1,400 of product we bring over there, we are paying an additional $400 in fees that's like shipping, insurance, VAT, and customs. So with this problem, we've came up with a solution of instead of directly exporting our product to the UK, we've decided to manufacture it in the UK to fix that expensive problem. So we are working with Camden Town Brewery, which is located in North London, and then as well with Neal's Yards Dairy. So they're gonna give us the cheese to use, and then Camden Town will give us the beer to use. And then Camden Town is actually letting us use their facilities to create our beer cheese to spread it all over London.
Perfect. What's the story with the value of the pound?
So the value of the pound is currently 1.35 US dollars to the Great British Pound. The pound has almost always been stronger than the dollar, but recently it's weaker than what it usually would be. In the past, the pound has even had a stronger value, with being closer to 1.65 versus the 1.35 that it is currently.
How does the value of the pound influence entry mode pricing, importation of raw materials?
So compared to the US dollar, the pound is relatively strong and it is overvalued. It's been at a high for almost 3 years now, staying firm with some small dips in the value, although the US dollar has lost close to 10% of its value compared to other currencies. Since the United Kingdom is an island, all of their imports are from other countries and they come in by boat. This leads to the city itself being more expensive since they have to bring everything in through the water. With a strong pound, exporting becomes much more difficult because sometimes they have to shift to local production to stay in competition with other firms. And a stronger pound means cheaper to import ingredients because it leads to lower shelf prices.
Perfect. Okay, I think you've convinced me. What should we do? And what kind of market entry strategy do you suggest?
Yes, absolutely. So we have decided that the best market entry strategy would be a joint venture with local franchises within the United Kingdom. So working with local companies allows us to get insight into the consumer market, and then coming into the market with a qualified company that already has loyal customer base will increase the likelihood for a warm welcoming from consumers. It also allows for us to adapt local knowledge on a pricing strategy, the flavors, and how to engage with the right customer. So this strategy also will help keeping costs much lower. Rather than investing in a standalone store or shelf space in a store, this structure allows for a shared operational risk, making it less risky than going solo. So, joining a well-known and local company, it's best and smartest way to properly enter the market into the UK. And then that kind of goes with like what I talked about earlier of how much more it would be to just export our goods over there, or how long it would take for us to create a distribution center. Like it would take years to build and then we have to get everything processed. So, by working with other companies, that is already done for us.
Perfect. What kind of international strategy do you suggest?
Yeah, so we actually decided that a multi-domestic strategy is the best option because we are able to tailor our product in sort of a way to specific needs of consumers in London. We are adapting by decentralizing to the local culture, which will in turn lead to strong local brand loyalty. Consumers in the UK are not familiar with beer cheese, and so this strategy allows the opportunity to adapt aspects of the product to appeal to the British. This includes incorporating joint ventures with local breweries and cheese distributors to apply a proper recipe and packaging that appeals to our audience. This strategy also allows us to navigate regulations that are held within the UK with the help of companies that are familiar with regulations that are currently held with the food in the UK. We are able to have a strong insight and avoid a lot of costly mistakes.
Perfect. Thank you all so much. I must get to my next meeting in a few minutes. Can you help me summarize what we talked about in about 3 to 4 bullet points?
Yeah, absolutely. So, what we've kind of concluded is Kentucky beer cheese will easily transition into London markets because it fits into the pub culture and people are accustomed to the flavors in the beer cheese. And then some concerns to keep in mind are cultural and social differences, currency differences from the dollar to the pound, and the trade and foreign policies in the UK. And then finally, our last bullet point, well, there's two more, but the market entry strategy we believe will be most successful is a joint venture with local franchises within the UK, which is Camden Town Brewery and then Neal's Yards Dairy. And then we suggest a multi-domestic international strategy for optimal success here.
Okay, thank you so much, Mrs. Evans.
Yes, thank you. I really
So good to talk
appreciate
to
you
you.
being here.
Yes,
Thank
thank you.
you.
If you have any other questions, you can email me or one of my associates. So,
Perfect. Thank you.
oh, wait, Mrs. Evans, I'm so sorry. We actually have one more thing that we would like to share with you that slipped our minds. If we could just take a few more minutes of your time. I'm so sorry to keep you from your next meeting, but I feel like this will be really beneficial for you to see. We actually have created a logo and mock packaging that we wanted to share with you so you can see this whole product come to life. Here we have the front and the back of what the packaging would look like. We have the Kentucky beer cheese times London on the front, and then you can see we have a little design with a mouse, a pint, and some cheese on the bottom of the packaging. And you can see that it says partnering with Camden Town Brewery and Neal's Yard Dairy, which are the two companies that we chose to have a joint venture with. And then not pictured is the nutritional label and ingredient list, which will be on the sides of the packaging. And you could also find various things like the Kentucky Beer Cheese website on the sides. Here we actually have a mock nutritional facts label, which, like I said, can be on the side of the container. And here we actually have all of the conversions of from what a US label would look like. And this is what the UK label would look like with all of the correct nutritional facts. So, why did we choose these certain packaging choices? These packages are what will be used for customers looking to purchase the product for takeaway from the pub, as well as what will eventually be sold in markets everywhere, like on the shelves of grocery stores and whatnot. You wouldn't per se have these packages shipped in for like the pubs to use. Those would be shipped in bulk for what we would be using on like our burgers or with the soft pretzels and whatnot. We've actually partnered with P. Wilkinson Containers Ltd in the UK, and they've offered to work with us in creating a sustainable package that will fit London's agenda of working towards a more environmentally friendly culture. And the packaging will be made purely of recycled plastics from the UK, and it will have a lid that won't fully detach, which you can find examples of this on a water bottle or soda bottle in London. It's like it will screw off but not completely detach. And this lid design will reduce waste and hopefully improve recycling rates and make it easier since the lid and tub will be attached and people won't have to deal with two separate packages. They'll always stay together. For labeling and names, we wanted to stick to the name Kentucky Beer Cheese so it still feels like your product and so people know the origins of the product. And we believe that people in London, from personal research and speaking to many locals ourselves, know what Kentucky is, which is a bit surprising to us. And they'll be used to the name because of things like Kentucky Fried Chicken. Like every time we spoke to a local, they knew what Kentucky was, which they weren't familiar with all states of the United States. So we don't think the name will scare people off. However, we did add a Times London to the front of the packaging, which you saw earlier, as well as the companies we are joining in a joint venture with on the back of the packaging so that London locals know we are altering the product for them. And for the coloring of the packaging, we decided on making the packaging a sleek blue and white to create a classy feel that will better fit the vibes of London locals. We believe that they will be more drawn to this formal packaging since they're a society that values dressing up and a business casual vibe. We noticed a lot during our time there that it is a very like formal culture. You see a lot of trench coats and dress pants, and we believe that they will really like this sleek look because they dress in a sleek look, and a lot of their buildings and clothing that they sell and whatnot are a sleek design. And for the different designs on the back of the packaging, we decided to keep it on the bottom so that the front can keep that sleek and classy look. And we still wanted that same feel of the classic Kentucky beer cheese, like we mentioned earlier, but we wanted to slightly alternate it to welcome Londoners. Instead of a mouse being on the outline of the state of Kentucky, it is on the outline of the British flag. And we think it's a cute and quirky spin on the classic design. And we don't think it will be too touristy looking and it will pertain to the London locals since it is just a white outline and it's not a pure flag with the red, white, and the blue colors on it. So we believe that they'll really enjoy that fun little choice that we've decided to make. And that is pretty much it for the packaging. I'm so sorry to be taking a little bit more of your time, but that is all we have now. Thank you so much again, and we hope to talk to you soon.